What's up, guys? How's it going? Sorry we're a little bit late today. As you can see, we have my buddy Pat.
Yep.
Brandon will probably be in a little later. That's why we had to start late, because Brandon's late. No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Pat, how are you today?
I'm doing well, man. How are you? How are things?
I'm doing swimming, thank you. Thank you. You know, rushing to get all the stuff set up after customers and all that stuff, it can be a fun time for sure.
For sure, yeah. A lot of work to do.
I didn't put out a post today, so it's a surprise on what tonight's all about. We'll get into that. First, I want to take care of some administrative things.
Yep.
Tonight's giveaway. I'm gonna give away a 2-pack of these Baofangs. I don't know if you guys can see those. Actually, I'm gonna work in front of you.
Yeah,
Pat.
by all means.
Sorry.
Take your stuff.
These are like the more, you know, budget option. These guys are cool for just throwing into a backpack, or if you're hunters, or anything of the sort. They don't have any screens, just very easy, just channels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they turn on pretty simply. Not only does this pack come with one, but it comes with two, and 2 chargers. So this pack is pretty cool, I will be honest with you. Again, how you can win one of these guys, just keep being active in the chat. Let me remember your name as always. I kind of also want to do a little bit of giveaway for, you know, some pewislife merch. I've never done that. I should start doing that more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna choose somebody at random, somebody that is, you know, pretty cool and cool enough to rep my brand. I'm gonna need you, whoever I pick, to send the store a Facebook message with some personal information so I can actually get it to you guys. Other than that, Pat, I'm gonna go check on the comments real quick. If you wanna give an overview of what's going on tonight.
Sure. So guys, we got some exciting stuff lined up for you guys. As you can see, I got a plethora of Glock handguns lined up here, right? So we're gonna get into some of the different frame sizes. These are all 9mm, guys. So every handgun that you see here, as far as ammunition, is gonna be the same, obviously. They're all gonna be compatible with that 9mm Luger, 9x19, 9 Parabellum, whatever. So all these guns are very similar, and then there's some ways in which all these guns are a little bit different. So we'll get into some of that stuff. I also want to hit on some of the tactical game side of things. So as this event gets a little bit closer for you guys, some of you are going to start to, you know, get your gear all configured, and I just want to help you guys along the way, right? So some of the different stuff that I wear and use and all that stuff, we will try and talk about some of the different characteristics, some of the hows and whys in terms of gear selection, you know, in terms of what works for me individually, and then hopefully that will help some of you all out there as well, right? So before we do that, let's talk a little bit about Glock and their 9mm handguns, okay? So one of the things when we get new shooters in here, everybody wants to know what is going to be the best, like, one size fits all, kind of do everything type of handgun, right? And there's generally, I say that there's no like one size fits all solution, right? There's no one handgun that does everything well. However, there are some handguns that do a lot of things very well, and the Glock 19 happens to be one of those. Now this happens to be my personal Glock 19 for what it's worth. That's why it's in my G-code holster. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later as well. But in terms of the Glock 19, some of the things I like about it, it is a relatively concealment friendly pistol, right? In terms of being adequately sized for defensive use, has a 4.01 inch barrel. So it's close to a full-size gun in terms of accuracy and shootability and all of that good stuff. If you live in a free state, this gun comes ready for a 15-round magazine. Here in New York State, though, you're limited to 10 rounds, which you know, obviously is difficult, and it's less than ideal for a lot of us. So with that in mind, for those of us that live in restricted states, or those of us who are looking for a pistol that's just a little bit slimmed down in terms of the Glock 19, this pistol here is the Glock 48. Now it has the same 4.01 inch barrel, it has the same sight radius here. That's the distance between the front sight and the rear sight, right? Those two sights are the same distance from one another on both the 19 and the 48. And this gun is basically a Glock 19 that has been scaled down to accommodate a what they call a 1.5 stack magazine, which this holds 10 rounds. So in terms of like the length of the grip frame here, identical to your Glock 48. However, because of the slimmed down magazine well and grip frame, it also wears a thinner slide, and because of that, it's not compatible with any of your Glock 19 type holsters, right? It's quite a bit slimmer there. So that is one kind of drawback with the 48. It's got a lot of things in common with your 19, but it does not share commonality as far as holsters and things of that nature. So for those of you who are looking for something in that 10 round capacity with that same length grip frame here, so we can get our whole hand onto the whole gun kind of mindset, we have the Glock 43X. Now this Glock 43X has, again, the same 10 round grip frame, same magazine capacity and everything as your Glock 48, just with a slightly shorter slide and barrel and an appropriately shorter sight radius as well. So you know, a little bit more concealment minded option, maybe not as what we say inherently accurate, right? And what I mean by that is obviously a longer sight radius is going to be closer to a full-size pistol. Many shooters may find it easier to shoot, you know, accurately on a consistent, repeatable basis with a gun that has a slightly longer sight radius and a longer slide and barrel. So in addition to the 43X and its relative concealable size, we also have the Glock 43. Now this is a true single stack pistol, so it is a little bit slimmer in the grip frame, and as a result the magazines from the 48, the 43X will not work in this guy here. This magazine is completely a standalone item in terms of working with the Glock 43 itself and itself alone. So this gun has a 7+1 capacity as it comes from the factory, and you can see it's got a really short grip frame there. In fact, when I take the magazine and the base pad out, my pinky is now hanging in space. So when I go to draw that gun out of my holster, if I've got a flush fit magazine, I don't have one of those extended base pads on there. If I'm a person who has even a medium-sized hand, my hand is not going to fit completely onto that grip frame. So for my own personal preferences, that gun is going to be just a little bit small because for me, I prioritize access a little bit higher than concealability, right? So when we're talking about some of the different characteristics of our concealment handguns, you know, obviously we want something that's going to be appropriate in caliber in terms of something that's adequate for personal protection or self-defense. So we want something, you know, my personal standard is to start from 9mm and work my way up. Some folks will tell you 380 is fine, and based on some of the loads that are out there, I would say that with good shot placement and the right mindset, that the 380 can be a pretty decent option for you. But again, shot placement is going to be paramount there, and 380 ammunition being what it is relative to 9mm, you may need, you know, more ammunition to accomplish the same task with a 380 than what you might need with a 9mm. So something to think about in that regard as well. In terms of the other characteristics outside of concealment, you're also looking at access to the gun, right? How readily can I get my entire hand onto that entire grip frame, establish an appropriate firing grip before I get that gun out of the holster, right? Because I have to have a good grip on the gun before I withdraw it from that holster. Otherwise, I'm gonna have some issues getting those sights onto the target and delivering accurate rounds. Tyler, you are making me nervous, friend. What's going on?
I'm sorry I'm making you nervous.
Yeah, well, how can I help you?
I just want to interject.
Please.
This is like one of my favorite things to work with customers on.
Okay.
Very regularly we have customers that come in and they say, what gun do you recommend I start off with?
Right, yeah, common question.
So that's kind of what I wanted to do with this. I wanted to, like, you know, you are my customer sitting in front of me and we're going through that, like, that spiel that takes a few minutes. Like, well, what are you looking for? Different frame sizes and all of that stuff.
So yeah, for when we're talking about what the purpose of the gun, right? When we're talking about a concealment-oriented firearm type, we can go only so small, right, down that size ladder before we start to run into issues with access to the gun and things of that nature, right? So for me individually, I'm looking for a gun for concealment that I can get my entire hand onto that entire grip frame before I would draw my gun from my holster. So, you know, for me individually, I'm not going to recommend generally a 43, right, unless somebody has a very, very small hand.
And
right?
the one thing we have to remember when we start getting down to these firearms is they don't shoot the same as a full size. I mean, we take
Absolutely.
a 9 and we put it into something this small compared to something this large.
Recoil management becomes
a lot.
little more
And
difficult, right?
These guns are a lot more forgiving for any imperfections in our grip that we have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, still the literature today with firearms is they have, I'm trying to like organize things.
Sure.
I'm gonna sprinkle in some other non-Glock options. So I should, actually this is not a good spot. Sorry, this is the kind of care you get when you come in here. We're always like pulling out 1,000 guns and overwhelming you. That's kind of the point. Let me make sure we're still on camera. We are still on camera with that.
We're still in frame. We got our mark there, so we're good.
It's getting difficult for.
Okay, so now we've got our Hellcat, we've got our 43, we've got our MC1, we've got our 43X, we've got our 48, we've got the Shield, we've got Uncle Pat's Glock 19, we've got the Glock 17, we've got the SIG Legion, we've got the P365.
And I mean, this is kind of what I pull out for people whenever somebody asks me, what gun do you recommend I get for my first concealed carry?
Sure.
And of course, concealed carry, I always tell people, I'm pretty sure you said this, always go as large as you possibly can.
As big as you're comfortable,
yeah.
right? Anything, you know, that gets too small down that size scale, guys, you're gonna run into some sort of an issue, whether it's access to the gun, whether it's being able to shoot the gun accurately, whether it's just enjoyment when you're out there practicing on the range. Because let's be honest about this, especially when we're talking about new shooters, there is an element of fun that needs to be there
100%
to entice people to do this thing,
absolutely.
Right? Like if shooting is not fun, if my gun feels like it's beating me up every time I go to shoot it, I'm not going to want to do that thing, right? So
speaking of having fun and enjoying small things,
what up?
I thought I would show up finally. So,
Thank you.
You know,
and
I'm
you
a
brought
little late.
you brought treats.
beer.
You know, yeah, you know, well, cheers.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no problem.
So
Hey, sorry.
cheers to you guys.
I'm late. I was doing stuff.
So,
You brought beer.
Very
we're good.
important things, obviously.
You brought beer. We're good.
so one of the
What are you guys
things.
talking about?
Oh, we're just talking about handguns.
Oh,
handguns,
selecting
you know what
them. Mainly about like frame sizes and stuff. So, I mean, we call like the 17 full size,
Right.
obviously. 19, they consider it compact.
That is a compact, technically. It's
yeah.
pretty close to a full-size gun, I would say.
I am trying to change some of this literature that the industry has, because they call this a compact, they call this a subcompact, which I can respect, but they still qualify like the Glock 43 in like family size. Subcompact, I'm not a fan. I'm trying to change that to micro compact. That just fits better.
Well, but you still have guns that are even smaller
Like
than
the
these guys,
like-
right? You got the Kimber Micro 9, you got the P238, the P938,
LCP2,
the LCP2.
Bodyguard.
There's a ton of other, right? So
It's just hard. Like we need to change what we call. We need to change something in the literature because they're still calling these the same, and they're not. I mean, the Shield and the 48 are very different than a Glock 43 or an MC1.
I would agree with you there, but I don't make these. I don't make
Yeet Cannon's already
these
taken.
marketing.
Yeah, heat cannon.
I don't make these marketing type decisions, right? So barking up the wrong tree.
We'll just call up, you know,
Just,
all those executives we know.
Yeah, all those people, all our industry connections, you know what I mean? So, yeah, guys, you know, when we look at some of these handguns, obviously, you know, there is such a thing as too beefy for concealment, right? The majority of us, the P320 X5 Legion is a fantastic handgun. I love it. This thing is like cheating, right? It's like a laser gun. However, it's a little big for concealment, right? So, you know, just like we can go too big up the size spectrum, we can also go too small, as we hit on earlier. My first carry gun, guys, was a Glock Model 17, all right? When I initially got my pistol permit some years ago, I came right here to this very location, in fact, and I bought my first Glock, which was a Glock 17. And I paid retail like a sucker because I didn't know about the Blue Label program at the time. So whatever, right? But when I realized that the Glock 17 was going to be a little bit too big for me to conceal, right? Because I am roughly the same size as like a Hobbit. I switched to a Shield in 45 ACP. This is a 9mm Shield, but I did switch for a time to a Shield 45 ACP because I just felt like it was a better concealment option. Later on, I went back to Glock 26, and when I realized that what I really wanted was just to stick with double stack Glocks, I kept my 17 that I wasn't carrying anymore. I got a 19, and now I have my 19, and I also have a Glock 45. And the Glock 45 is basically a Glock 17 frame. Here you can see the frame is a little bit long in my little hands there, and you can see it's got a shorter slide and barrel, right, from the Glock 19. So you know, as my tastes have matured and as I've realized, you know, how difficult concealing a full-size handgun could be, and you know how much kind of work can go into some of these things in terms of holster selection, belt selection, appropriate clothing, you know, whatever the case is, there is a lot to this stuff. It's a lifestyle, guys. This is not something that you can be casual about and be able to carry a good size gun every single day.
If you're going in and out of a gun store the first time and purchasing something, you're probably doing something wrong. It's something you need to hold, you need to shoot, you need to really consider, because there's just so much to handgun selection. It's ridiculous.
It's one of the benefits of this particular place here, because we offer the service where you guys can come and rent some of these different handguns and give them a try. And the way that these guns behave under recoil, the way that these you know, sights work with your eyes, and the way that you know, the mechanics come together when you're manipulating the gun, those things all matter a lot, right? So in order to be able to try some of these things out, we recommend that you come here, rent some different options, and actually get a chance to test them under, you know, with some live ammunition under recoil out on the range, and see what works best for you individually. All right?
Tyler won't let me touch the buttons.
Yeah, he's like
He
that.
won't let me touch the buttons.
He's very selfish with his little control board over there.
Fiddling with things.
Yeah, look at it. You got all my knobs down.
So whatever, you know, it's cool.
So
do we have any? Yeah, do we have any
questions? Have
questions?
rolled in. Are you even dude? What are you doing? Not you.
What did I do?
You've shifted the cameras.
Oh my
I'm kidding.
gosh,
You
there's no
couldn't have
way.
done this. It was just,
I'm up here fiddling with stuff.
so questions have rolled in.
Yeah, by all means.
I'm gonna slap into the main cam because
Please do.
Please, I am the star of the show.
100%.
Pat, first reminder.
Yeah.
Your coffee is going to be dropped off first thing tomorrow morning.
Well, I'm going to be here tomorrow, and I know who that's from, and I really appreciate it.
We
brother.
love you. I steal some of it. So.
You're gonna get a firm handshake from me, and that's worth its weight. So
Seriously.
just so you know,
Seriously.
just so you know, I appreciate you.
Next question.
Yeah.
Or not a question. Comment. Or this is a question. That
This
was
is
a
a
comment.
question,
I'm
sure.
sorry. Hunting handguns. What's a good hunting handgun?
Well, I mean, if you're looking semi-automatic, right, that's one thing. If you're looking to revolver, yeah, we've got a Ruger Blackhawk and 357 Magnum with a loopholed scope on it.
So great.
That's a fantastic hunting handgun. In terms of hunting deer, right? 357 Magnum, perfectly adequate in terms of caliber selection. Is this a 2 power scope, 2.5, something like that?
Probably.
Doesn't say.
Somewhere.
It's
Probably
something.
looks like 2.5.
2. Yeah, 2. It says 2.
Okay, yep. So 2 power scope on there, extended eye relief, single action trigger, right? So super accuracy potential there.
I would go with the pistol AR-15.
AR pistol in 9.
223, 5.56 for deer.
That's so light though.
I would go, yeah, if I was going to do
77
that, I'd go with like
77
300
grain.
black.
Open tip
The
match.
deer around here are a little bit big. That's the only thing. The
They are
deer
pretty
around
small.
here, like if you're down in like the Carolinas and you're hunting those little swamp deer, right?
Swamp deer.
That's different, I would say.
They
Can
gotta
we
run
like go
from the
back real
gators.
quick though? Can we back this up?
Yeah.
What did you recommend again?
I recommended initially I was started on the semi-auto.
No, with the AR. You said a caliber.
Oh, I'd go 300 black.
Can I get that on a loop?
Oh,
One more time.
'cause you-
One
I
more
said
time.
for
We got him.
deer. I said
Got
that
him.
specifically for deer. I'm not talking about going out.
Pat
and doing-
said he would recommend 300
Write it down. Write it down.
10,
Take a
8,
picture. I don't
22.
give a dang. Lucky I like this PG-13 rating. Mess it up. So yes, I did say 300 black for deer. Don't tell anybody. We'll keep it here among this little small group of my 50 closest
Only
friends.
3 million people are
Right?
watching.
14
Pat.
people.
Yeah, like 12 people saw that, so whatever. My 12 favorites, by the way.
So, we're gonna switch from hunting, even though hunting's coming up.
Although I do want to say one more
Please.
thing about hunting handguns. If we're looking semi-automatic, like a true handgun, Glock, Model 40, 10 millimeter
you go.
with an optic, right?
all day, 10 mil.
Good to go.
I was
10
going to say
is-
the Glock 20, but then I forgot that existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Glock Model 40 is the long
Choice,
slide. Yeah.
If it's not 9, it should be 10.
They don't
That's
make
millimeter,
it.
right?
They don't make an 11 yet.
Not
Yeah.
yet.
They will.
We'll get our top men on that. Top men.
Brian!
Wow.
Top. Top.
So
some
smallest
things.
caliber to shoot, I see, is a question. Now, when
Yes.
you say to shoot,
I-
my question is to shoot.
Don't read
for
my
what?
notes because I do this for myself. It's
Okay.
Not, it's short.
So smallest caliber
for carrying
for carrying.
that you would recommend.
I honestly, if you can carry a 380, you can carry a 9, right?
Yeah.
Because here's the deal: there are so many 9 millimeters now that are just tiny. Ty, would you disregard?
No, keep. Oh,
I was just gonna ask you to hand me the. Yeah, I said X. I was gonna ask you to hand me the 42. So this is a Glock Model 42, right? This is a 380. This is the smallest handgun that Glock is currently producing. And then here is basically the same handgun in 9 millimeter.
Right.
Right? So if we do one over top of the other, we can compare these things any which way you want. The Glock, the 9 mil is on the left, and the 380 is on, 380 is now on my right, your left. And the 9 mil is on my left, your right. But if we go
They're the same.
that way,
They're the same, basically.
they're
Like,
almost identical,
once you
right?
get them in the
Like,
holster, you know what I mean?
by the time you put a holster
Yeah.
on these two guns, right, they are one and the same, right? So for me, if you can carry a 380 like this, you can carry a 9 like that,
Yeah.
right? So I don't think there's any reason anymore to go 380, right? And the other thing about the 380 now, they have the 380 Easy Shield, which is, as far as 380s go, it is a mammoth of a pistol.
It's as big
right?
as the 43X.
That's what I'm
or
saying. It's
48.
as far as a 380, that thing is gigantic, right? So,
It is easy to rack the slide, though. They did, like, that was the
no,
goal.
I
you know, like, yeah.
but they also make that same gun in 9, and it's really not that
Yeah,
much,
you may as well
much
get that.
bigger,
Right,
right?
right.
If I was going to get the 380, I would also go up to the 9 in that gun as well, right? And the same for like
Yeah.
SIG 238 versus SIG 938. If I can carry a 238, can I carry a 938? 100%.
Right. Yeah, that's a perfect example. Really.
If I can carry a Springfield 911 in 380, can I carry a Springfield 911 in 9 mil?
Yeah.
Right?
That would definitely be, the smallest caliber, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, some people will tell you 380, and those guys are not necessarily wrong. They just have a different idea than what I have. And my idea is I want that 115 grain bullet as opposed to a 95 grain bullet. Because if I'm putting ballistic energy into a target, I want to put more ballistic energy into that target as opposed to less.
Love it.
So that's where I'm coming from with that. Revolver. I see a revolver here.
Let's get to that in a minute.
Yep.
You're jumping ahead of me.
My
That's
bad.
You're
fine.
teasing us with these.
You're still
cool
beautiful.
things.
You're showing me all this neat stuff
still
over here.
Touch all the
absolutely
things.
So I get this question actually a lot from people that aren't as familiar with handguns.
Sure.
Why does it look like the barrels tilt upwards?
Because
John Browning.
Because the barrel does, in fact, and indeed tilt upwards, right? So when the gun goes out of battery, the barrel does, in fact, rock back and up a little bit. And the reasons why are to facilitate extraction and ejection, right? And to facilitate that slide moving back smoothly, back and forth. So those are the reasons.
Trade-off is slight loss of accuracy, but for a gun like this, irrelevant.
So, and not all of your guns are going to have a tilting barrel design. In fact, the Beretta PX4 Storm, one of my very, very favorite handguns in terms of a hammer gun for concealment, it has a rotating barrel design, which is super cool because it keeps the barrel on that same plane
Yeah.
all the time.
Brett always liked having a fixed style, the M9 or little Bobcat, Tomcats,
Yeah, it just makes a lot of sense when you think about, like you said, you do get a slight degradation in accuracy when every time the gun starts to unlock, right? Even though the bullet has already left the chamber at that point, every time that gun unlocks, the relationship between the barrel and the slide changes slightly. Yeah. And then every time that the gun goes forward in the battery, that relationship, again, there's going to be some measure of deviation there. That's why match guns, right, typically have very, very tight tolerances where you don't get a lot of movement in those parts because everything is lined up so tightly. But the trade-off there, Brandon said there's a trade-off here with accuracy. The trade-off with your match guns is reliability, right? Because as those tolerances get tighter, any variation in pressure, from in the chamber from your ammunition, or cleanliness of the gun, or proper lubrication, or any adverse conditions, right? If you get dust and whatever have you, debris inside the action of that gun, right? It is going to seize up and stop working. So
that's a cool one.
This is my next purchase.
That's definitely a fantastic stinking handgun.
I carry the 17. Like, that's just my EDC. I'm definitely switching to this when they're available.
Such tungsten.
Tungsten infused.
So much tungsten.
This is the
sounds so hipstery, like tungsten infused.
Tungsten infused polymer, bro.
Locally sourced.
I don't know. I'd almost rather just get the P320 like X frame and then just get the Wilson Combat grip module for it.
I just like this, man. I
love it too. I think it's super cool.
The P320 X5 Legion.
Speaking of SIG, it's like sidetrack here. Did you see they got a fancy new military contract for low power variable optics?
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one that's 6 for Tango. Yeah.
SIG is dominating the military contracts.
Really is. It's like a $77 million contract, like just for those to replace our beloved ACOG.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's old school. Crazy to think about though. The ACOG is 20, 25 years old technology.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like,
still a great optic.
Oh, 100%.
But as
100%.
far as like being a fixed power optic, like there are just better options out there.
It makes sense, and that's exactly what the request. The military does these all the time. They put out a request. This is what we want, and then the companies make them.
Yeah.
And that's what they wanted. They wanted a as true of a 1 power as they could get. And then adjustable to 6 for that exact reason.
Like the Elcan, kind of, except for it's 1 to 4.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how it's going to be done. And SIG was even like, we don't have like a final, I don't think there's an actual optic.
I think it will
probably
be one of the Whiskey Series ones, and I think it will probably be a true like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not just like 1, 6.
4, 6. Yeah.
Right, as opposed to the Elcan. I like the Elcan Spectre.
I like the Elcan.
I think it's super
heavy.
neat.
It's one downside, but
reminds me of the eye doctor.
Yeah, the things.
What do you guys think about the ATF slapping down on Q?
I loved the meme I saw where it was like a sign. It was like, no bicycling, no skateboarding, no rollerblading, no this. And there was a guy unicycling past it. Like, we'll find a way around it. Like, here's your rules. Here we are. We're Americans. Love it. I hate
that they did
rule
that.
though. Yeah, or that.
Administrative state. They just.
It's just,
but I thought we had such a pro Second Amendment.
That's what I was saying.
But the president is so.
He's so pro 2A.
I mean, you can carry your gun anywhere in the country, so that happened.
Wait.
You have full national concealed carry reciprocity, don't you?
No, that didn't happen.
That was like day 1.
That was supposed to happen a while,
The bald eagle was going to scream down.
Haven't seen it.
I saw the picture of it. He's shooting like dual M16s on the tank. I've seen it.
And like bump stocks, those sales have gone through the roof.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh my god. And that's the thing, like, I mean, okay, the honey badger is a relatively expensive.
I don't know anybody that owns a honey badger.
Those are north of.
I know
2
one
or 3,
guy, and I don't know him personally. I know of a guy.
Yeah.
If there's 100 of them out there, that'd be a lot.
They're awesome guns. They look sweet. I've always loved them. Yeah, but.
Yeah, the sheriff's office, they need to test like a dozen of those. We just need to have them.
Right?
Yeah.
So guys, questions?
I do have some more questions. We're not pistols
are we
just
still
yet.
gonna? Okay.
I'm sorry. I know you want to.
I just want to keep this rig right. I want to keep these good people entertained.
We're chilling. Glock numbers. What is the rationality behind that? It's actually like their numbers are. Don't try and memorize them. They're crazy. They're actually based off of the patent. So Glock files for patents, and that's like the Glock 19 is just the patent number. if you care to elaborate more on that.
I thought they just made them up.
I actually thought that the Glock 17 was like iteration number 17 of that handgun.
Yeah, I heard they were just patent. So none of us actually know. We're all just pulling.
I don't think anybody
There's
knows.
just a dude like in Austria with lederhosen on, and he's drinking.
Oh yeah.
This is basically what I picture.
This is the 44.
That's my beer. Get off my beer. So let me tell you guys what I do know about. No, I was only teasing. So let me tell you guys what I do know about Glock model numbers. 17, first one, 9mm. 18, second one, full auto and 9mm. 19, third one, 9mm, compact. 20, 10mm. 21, 45 ACP. 22, full size 40 cal. 23, compact 40 cal. 24, 25, don't worry about them, they're only available in Europe. 26, subcompact 9mm. 27, subcompact 40. 28 is a 357 SIG. 29 is the subcompact, 10mm. 30 is a single stack 45. 31 is a 45 ACP or gap.
Or is that another South American one or one we can't get? 31?
Well, that's the 32, 33,
Okay.
I know for sure. No, the 31 is a real gun that
you
exists
opened up
here.
this box, we have to keep going.
34 is the long slidey boy 9mm. 35 is going to be your
Long slide 40.
long slide 40, thank you. 36 is going to be a double stack 45 subcompact 6+1 2x4. The thing is so. You ever held one in your hand? It's
Yeah,
the worst
they're
gun
bad.
that I've ever held.
They're bad.
37 and 38 are both 45 gap. The 37 is the 37 is the full size. 38 is going to be your compact on that. 39, no idea. 40 is your long slide 10mm, and I don't know if there is a
41 is the 45 long slide.
41 is the 45 long slide, Jesus Christ. 42 is the 380, and the 43 is your 9mm subcompact 1.5 stack. 44 is your 22 long rifle, and the 45 is a 9mm hybrid of the 1917.
Eventually we'll be able to kill that meme of I carry a 45 because they don't make a 46.
Oh, and the 48 is
Eventually they will.
eventually.
Yeah, then
they're-
they got the 48.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to the 46 and 47. If you ask me if those exist, I don't even know. Right?
They
Those-
do a lot of weird stuff where they're out there but not in this market.
not in the wild in
Like you
the
said,
U.S.
the
or
25.
24 and 25. Those are only available in Europe.
And I
There's some
think-
380 variants out there that I don't.
The U.S. Has, and again, they could make those guns here in the United States and they would be legal.
Right.
But I believe it's because the U.S. has very odd
ITAR or whatever.
import laws too. Yeah. Regarding like there's literally a roster you can look up, and a handgun to be imported has to have a certain point value.
Right.
And being like low caliber makes it bad. So arbitrary. It's just weird, legislation.
Yeah, so as far as like the rhyme or reason behind it, they are like sequentially numbered in the order that they come out. In terms of like sorting them into different calibers, you just kind of have to know, or be a Glock armor
no, like,
and have like
code.
there's nothing embedded in there that's gonna tell you what it is. Unfortunately.
What do we got, Ty? What's our next question?
Well, I wanted to, before we go to questions, I wanted to talk about our chat with Spectrum and everything because, hey, 45 minutes is here and it's starting to lag again.
Oh, of course.
So, we did talk with Spectrum. We did it on speakerphone together.
Yeah.
We should record it next time. We should call and then record.
Because they were like, you didn't even spike that much like on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Our highest spike was on Saturday night when no one was here.
Literally no one was here.
The ghosts are getting on the Wi-Fi.
Somebody must be like hacking into the
Nate's
Wi-Fi.
over here.
You said it.
Nate's over here downloading stuff on LimeWire probably.
What's the ghost here? LimeWire or
MySpace.
Oh my god.
So yeah, we chatted with Spectrum. They said it was no problem. I was on chat support with our OBS and like multi-stream service, and they told me to make sure my router was set to this. I did that. I did that today, and it's still like bandwidth hopping. So that kind of just leads me to believe it's Spectrum. I don't know what else would be bad with hopping. They reset our router and all that stuff. However, I'll have you know that I am live recording this. So on my end, everything looks perfect. It never stops. On your end, I can see it because I also have a page open with Facebook and it jumps. On your end, I'm sorry it's lagging, but if you want, there will be a live upload, or there will not be a live upload. There will be an upload on YouTube. I'm just gonna upload the recorded footage, so there is better footage out there.
Yeah, so for those of you who are experiencing issues with the live streaming aspect of this,
Still watch.
You may want to, please feel free to watch. But if you want to go back and watch later, we won't look unkindly on that either.
Let's get back to some questions.
Please, yeah, by all means.
I get fired up about Spectrum. Fix it. Safety and no safety in a handgun. That's a loaded question.
All right, so here is the deal.
Yeah, my safety.
That's a good one. Okay, so manual safety. Here is my little spiel on the manual safety. So, Brandon, you remember the M1911? Mm-hmm. Okay, so back in the day, 1911, yeah, it's pretty okay, right? 2 world wars or whatever.
Back-to-back champs.
All right, exactly. So, the 1911, right, it had a manual safety on it, and one of the reasons why it had a manual safety on it is because soldiers, and I can say this having served in the military, so suck it, soldiers are stupid people, generally. Not like really, but you know what I mean, like, everything is kind of boiled down to like that 8th grade level of education.
It's the same
intentionally.
It's the same in larger police departments.
Right.
It's
so
I'm
not actually denigrating my people, right? But what I am saying is that we are not known for being like overly intelligent, right? We're generally knuckle draggers and we like to simplify things. So with the 1911, they had an issue because holstering and unholstering, right, being the most unsafe times when you're manipulating a handgun. With that gun, they had a great idea. They had the grip safety on there. Mm-hmm. Problem with the grip safety is I can still have a negligent discharge when I'm holstering my handgun.
Activating it.
Right, because I still have an appropriate firing grip that I would normally have, right? And I'm still applying pressure onto where the grip safety is. Right. And if any fabric or obstructions get in the way of my trigger as the gun's going into the holster, right? The gun is going to discharge, right? If I haven't activated that manual safety. So, the military later on, when they realized...
Especially considering it's a single action gun.
Single action, very light trigger, right? So, what the military did when they started to, technology improved over time, and they said, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get us one of those cool Wonder 9s, right? With a manual safety, yes, and also a decocking safety, right? So this way, anytime that our soldiers want to go and reholster a handgun, they can go ahead and decock that thing, and now I've got a double action trigger pull on there, and if I want to, I can go ahead and keep my manual safety engaged so that the trigger is completely and totally disabled as I go to slide that gun into my holster, right? So, on our modern striker-fired handguns, or even on, a hammer-fired gun, do we need a manual safety today? Well, I have a SIG P228 here, and this gun does not have a manual safety, but it does have the decocking safety we mentioned earlier, right? In the sense of protecting me against a negligent discharge, right? My double action trigger, because it has a 10-pound pull and a ton of travel, right? That double action trigger is my safety. Because if I'm going to reholster the handgun and I encounter some sort of an issue, right, theoretically, I should recognize that before we get a negligent discharge going down my leg someplace, right? So to answer your question, I don't perceive a need for a manual safety on any modern handguns because all of our modern handguns are equipped with many safety mechanisms in them, all of which are going to protect us from firing the gun unless and until we press the trigger, right? So if you need a manual safety to prevent you from inadvertently pressing the trigger, I'm going to go ahead and suggest that what you need is to get away from firearms until you get yourself some training, right? Because obviously, if the safety, that feel-good button, is what's keeping you safe, then you are not safe, by definition. right? I don't need a button on my gun to make me feel like I'm safe. What I need is good trigger finger discipline, good muzzle management, and to always be aware of the status of the gun. Those are the things that I need to keep me safe. A feel-good button on the side of my gun is just that. It is a psychological safety net that makes me feel safer. And if my gun handling technique is lacking, I'm still going to be unsafe.
Just putting one more hurdle in your way too, you know.
Right, and yeah, if I have to get the gun out now, in some of the different courses that I've taken and different places that I've trained and different people that I've worked with, there's a saying out there that is, it's only an extra step if you make it an extra step, right? And what that means is it's not an extra step to access your gun and disable the manual safety if you ingrain the disabling of the safety into the presentation of the handgun, right? But if you have multiple different handguns, which most of us do, right? Those handguns are going to have different manuals of arms if one has a safety versus one doesn't have a safety, right? So in that regard and in that sense, I'm going to be potentially less safe. I'm going to be potentially less safe if I am operating the gun that doesn't have that manual safety because I'm used to having something there to help me, right? Whereas my belief, and I'm sure that Brandon and Tyler would agree with me here, my belief is that it should be your habits and your gun handling technique and your knowledge, skills, and abilities that are what's keeping you safe, not a button that you find on the side of the gun. What do you think about that?
Yeah, 100% agreed. And the 1911, was certainly a gun, and we've got some here. I don't know what camera we've got up right now.
Oh, you're up on top.
And you're up high,
so
baby.
both of you guys.
Nice. But yeah, literally 1911. That's when that gun hails from. The training and the mindset and just everything was different.
Yeah.
Then. And as you said, I mean, even the handgun that the military has now, it has a manual safety on it, correct?
It does. That was a military requirement.
M18,
They always
still
want to, right? So for them, and I would suggest to you that is due to a significant gap in handgun training in the military that's existed for a very long time.
Sure.
Because handguns are a secondary platform, right? And generally speaking, the people that may end up depending on handguns, by and large, those people are not going to be dependent on handguns. They're going to be dependent on other personnel that have appropriate weapons, right, to help keep them safe. Now, that's not always going to be the case, and there are guys out there in specialized units that are operating with a long gun and a handgun, and there are officers out there that are doing great and wonderful things with handguns, and whatever. I get it. Right. I'm with you. So please don't send me a bunch of, hey, stupid, you forgot about. Yeah, I got it. But at the same time, we do have to understand that the handgun training in the military is not designed to make you proficient, right? It's designed to potentially keep you alive if you should, through some nightmare scenario, end up depending on a handgun to keep you alive on the battlefield, right? And that's completely a less than ideal situation.
Oh yeah, right? Nightmare scenario. While you were talking, I couldn't help myself but go raid one of the display cabinets.
Sure. Yeah.
And you mentioned 1911 style handguns not having safeties, and that being a added requirement. And here we have the lineage of that, the developmental history going back. This is a Colt 1902 Sporting in 38 rimless, smokeless. That's how it dates it to that era that was still a thing you needed to.
This one's smokeless, guys. No black powder in this gun, right?
And it's rimless. Like what?
Right.
Crazy. Yeah. So again, that was a very early. I don't know if that's the first iteration of a 1911 style handgun, but it is one of the early ones.
It's very, very
made between 1902 and 1907, and less than 7,000 produced. That came out of the estate of Mr. Cooper, Tyler's grandfather.
Super neat.
As we've spoken about on this channel before, Tyler, his grandfather was a local here, and yeah, pour one out for Bruce there. Much respect. Definitely a huge influence here in the shop in our early years. Passed away, unfortunately, a few years ago, and is greatly missed. He was, I think we've talked about it before. He was one of those guys, like, it would just get busy here, and he'd hop behind the counter and just, you know, take care of, you know,
Just in there helping out, talking to customers.
You know how it is. There's guys that just want to talk here, and we love that. That's what we're here for.
But we can pass them
Sometimes
off.
it's- yeah.
Absolutely. Right.
And he just, you know, shirt off his back kind of guy.
Sure.
So he had an amazing collection, and that's one of the. A lot of these pieces are actually from his collection. Actually, these 4 are all from his just collection over the years. His father was a gun dealer. He was a gun dealer. I think his grandfather was a gun dealer.
Wow.
So
yeah,
amazing.
this
lineage.
goes back in your blood, man.
Then it goes. Then we've got a pair of 1905s.
Right.
A later iteration. You can see. We'll do another episode, maybe deep diving on these. I just wanted to bring them out quick and kind of tease everybody.
These are neat, man.
You can see there's 2 different styles of hammers. You know, one we're a
with an
little bit
extended
more
spur,
familiar
one
with, but I've seen modern guns with that. It's almost like a Wilson Combat style in a way. And then we've got a 1911.
A1.
Actually, just a 1911.
Oh, it's before the A1 even.
Although it does have a.
It does have the rounded.
Yeah. But this is and the only reason I know this is because it's a United States Navy. I don't know if it'll show up. It probably won't. But right across there, those were a World War I
Oh yeah.
model.
1911, not the A1.
Had a tag written up by this. And then this one's pretty cool. Union switch and signal, very rare. This one just walked through the front door one day. That's how it is here. And I think we might have gotten this one when we bought our Liberator. We'll have to open that cabinet up because we have a Liberator too
we'll get to
that I'd
that
love to show off here.
We have a milsurp stream coming in a couple
We do,
weeks.
yeah. For those of you that love military surplus firearms of all shapes, sizes, and flavors, we are working with a regular here in the store who's going to be bringing in some of his firearms. We're going to bring other people in that have some really cool milsurp, you know, military surplus stuff. And yeah, we're going to do a whole, you know how
That sounds super nice.
you know how us
Super
guys
neat.
go. We'll go 5 or 6 hours probably that night.
That sounds super.
You know
fun.
what we should do is we should definitely have him come in on a Thursday night. We should try to see if he can come in also for our stream marathon we're going to do coming up here for Operation Build Up.
Yeah.
It's going to be...
Speaking of that, we just got our first diamond member. Well, we got our only diamond member.
Dude, we got a diamond and we got a
yeah.
platinum today.
Same day.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Z-Bart, and I'm sorry, I know there's another
It's John
one.
Gotham, but I
That's
don't
it.
know.
Yeah, the name
I
of his
don't know
company.
the name of his company.
We'll
off
pull
the
it
top
up
of my
real
head.
quick. It's on my phone. I
But
want to give him a
I'm
shout
sure
out.
that John is watching. John, you're the man, buddy. I didn't realize that you did that today, but so I didn't get a chance to thank you for that, obviously. But much appreciated support, man. Thank you for helping us out with that fundraiser, and I hope to make this event a great one. I'm very excited about it.
GHA Services.
Yeah.
GHA
that's
services.
our platinum, and
Yes.
Z-Bart is
Z-Bart's are diamond.
Z-Bart, Z-Bart.
Diamond? Yeah.
Diamond.
yeah.
Huge shout out. Seriously, thank you guys so
Yeah,
much.
thank everybody for the support on that, and the future support that I know we're going to receive when that actually goes down. Very excited. So I think we've hit the handguns pretty hard. Do we have any more questions?
We do have more
pertaining
questions
to handguns,
but let's get
'Cause
to
I
them
would love
later.
to-
Let's get into this stuff now, and we'll get into handgun questions later.
Whatever you guys want to do. All right, so guys, as promised, Brandon's going to go ahead and take away the cool museum stuff for now. And as he kind of gathers that stuff up, thank you, B, for that. Amazing. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the tactical games type stuff. All right. One of the things, that I've been dealing with a lot recently is different questions that people have pertaining to the equipment that they should be buying, should be looking at, and some of the thought processes that drive my gear selection, or some of the reasons why we do things the way that we do them, right? So I just wanted to take a couple of minutes and talk to you guys about that. So we've talked previously about my plate carrier. My plate carrier is a Chase Tactical low-vis plate carrier setup that I really enjoy. And one of the things I like about it is it's very configurable, right? So I'll go ahead and unstring my pistol for just a second here. And I can strip off all of this. I can strip off my mags, and I can strip off my administrative pouch there. So
Pat,
now,
should we charge for this show? If you're stripping everything off?
maybe the next one, maybe I'll get a little bit more. We'll get some music.
TheFiringPinLLC.com. Go there, you can tip. Pat's gonna take it all off.
Take it all off, baby. All right, so here's the deal. now that I've got all of my stuff off, right, we can see that my plate carrier is pretty slick here, right? And what it means having it slick here is that it's maneuverable, right? I don't have anything in my way. And that's one of the things about some of the plate carriers that I've seen other people running. Some guys have, or girls for that matter, I don't want to single anyone out. Some people have different style cummerbunds, right? And those different style cummerbunds, some of them have pockets for plates, and some of them have like more elastic material here, and some of them have a lot of other just ancillary stuff going on. My cummerbund setup is pretty simple, right? I've got some straps that go around, they attach back here, they come around into the front. They've got a nice little Velcro flap back here that covers them up, keeps everything secure. And then they just come around the front and they wrap like this. And I've got 3 magazine pouches per side, right? So if I didn't want to run any mag pouches in the front for whatever reason, I could just run them here on the side, and I would have magazines right under my arms where, you know, they would be relatively out of the way for the most part. I might have to walk around, you know, with my arms out to the side a little bit more. They might not, you know, let me bring everything in tight, but I think I would be okay. In terms of my belt setup, Ty, how's the angle on the belt? Can you see pretty well from?
Oh, we can see everything.
Okay, great. So in terms of my belt setup, this is a G-code belt, and you can see on my exterior belt here, I have some Velcro, right? Or you can hear it now that I'm messing with it. And you can see on my interior belt here, I have some Velcro. So those 2 belts are gonna go ahead and mate up, right? And it's good that they made up, because now my outer belt isn't flexing around, right? So if I go to get my handgun out of my holster, that thing's gonna come out relatively easily. If I go to access a magazine, same thing. I don't get a lot of shifting around in my belt. So my recommendation would be to get an outer belt that connects to an inner belt that has some sort of Velcro there. That's gonna keep everything buttoned down and keep it from shifting around in case if you need it, right? In terms of what you're actually going to need on your belt, I think you should be okay with a holster and maybe a dump pouch like the one that I've got back here all rolled up. This is my Maxpedition roly-poly, Ranger green, of course, right? And I've got a couple of mag pouches, 2 rifle, 2 handgun, right? And then also I have 3 rifle mag pouches here in the front. So, you know, for those of you that are coming from free states, live in free states, run guns with detachable magazines, are law enforcement officers, don't give a hoot what the law says, whatever the reason is, if you have detachable magazines, you know, I'm going to recommend that you only go about 1 magazine thick in the front of your plate carrier, right? What I mean by that is you'll see some folks out there running double mag pouches in the front of their carrier, and when you start to do that, you start to increase the bulky nature of your setup, right? So I keep 1 magazine pouch thick here, and it keeps me relatively slim in the front. I don't want to add too much bulk. Understand, if I had additional, you know, mag stacked on the front of here, that's going to increase the amount of, you know, weight on the front of my chest, obviously. It's also going to increase the amount of clearance that I need if I'm moving over, under, around, or through something. And third, it's also more likely to get hung up on whatever obstacles I encounter. Lastly, when I go to prone out, it's going to keep me up off the ground, you know, that much more. So the closer I can be to the ground when I'm shooting prone, the more stable that position is going to get. So I don't want to add too much bulk out here in the front. In terms of for the tactical games, like running an administrative pouch or even a medical pouch or anything of that nature, you guys are not going to need any of that stuff on your gear. Some guys will tell you that it's just extra weight. I'm going to tell you that you don't need it, but if you plan to run it at a later time, you're probably going to want to run it, you know, during competitions or any other time that you're going to try to wring out your stuff and see if it's working for you, right? Because it's not going to be a real test of your equipment unless and until you're using all of the equipment that you're going to use should the need arise, right? In terms of slings, guys, some people have approached me about different sling setups. What I will tell you about slings is relatively simple. I set my sling up in a very specific configuration so that if I have my arm swung through like this, it's relatively tight against my body. It's not going to do a whole lot of moving around, right? If I got to move, the gun is going to relatively stay put. I can also cinch this thing down if I need to get a little bit tighter. I can also go over my back if I need to climb, carry, lift, crawl, whatever the case is. I can put the rifle on my back like that, and then when I need to access it again, it's right there. If I need to loosen my sling, I can do that relatively quickly, right? And if I need to transition my gun over to my sport side shoulder, it's a matter of swinging that arm out, and now we're good to go. And then when I want to stow my rifle once more, just go ahead and pull on the string here, swim through, and we're good to go. We got the rifle cinched down, and we're fine. This sling, excuse me, is from Spec Ops Manufacturing. Costs like $39.95, I think. US made, very compliant, very, very good sling. Super adjustable and reconfigurable, and just a really good option. It's also got some bungee for those of you guys that like to have some bungee to your sling. I personally do like to have some bungee in there, because when I need it tight, it's going to be tight, and when I need a little bit more flexibility, then I have that available to me as well. So, you know, in terms of holsters, guys, and how I set up my holster, I used to, because I had magazine pouches here on my sides, I used to worry that I was going to run into issues accessing the handgun from a belt-mounted holster, but obviously I don't really have that issue at this time. And if I need to go ahead and clear my long gun out of the way, I can do that, and now I have great access to the handgun, right? So you could go with more of a, just trying to see if I have my drop leg set up out here, which I don't. You could go with more of a drop leg type situation, or an optimal drop setup from G-Code or Safariland or something of that nature. For me, belt mounted option seems to be working pretty well right now. I do have a thigh mounted option as well, you know, if that should ever change. So that's just a little bit from me as far as gear selection. Last thing I do want to touch on in terms of gear is with your firearms, in terms of mounting lights and stuff like that. You can see I've still got my light on my long gun. Again, I don't, strictly speaking, I don't need it for the tactical games, but I'm not, or for, you know, those types of events, but I'm not going to take it off specifically of this gun for reasons, because I use this gun all the time, and I may need to use it when I need to use it, but also because I want to make sure that whatever I intend to have on the gun is there and it's ready to go to work when I need it. Same thing on my handgun. This is a handgun that I use in like tactical games, competitions, and things of that nature. When I shoot USPSA, if I use this gun, I take it off because USPSA rules say that I have to. If I shoot a tactical games match or something similar where I can use a light, I like to use the light because it does give me a little bit of extra weight on the front end of that gun, and that helps with recoil management and things of that nature. Ty, how are we looking on questions?
I have some more pistol questions if you're...
Yeah, let's go hop back on to... we can change gears, 100%.
Sorry.
No, whatever you guys want, that's what I'm here for.
Revolvers, why are they not as common for concealed carry anymore?
Well, that's a really good question. I would say that there are many reasons, and I happen to be among those reasons, right? Because I do try to steer people not away from revolvers. One of the things about revolvers, guys, that we need to understand is ammunition capacity is, you know, pretty limited, right? This is a 38 Special, Smith & Wesson airweight. It has a 5-round cylinder, right? A lot of your snub nose revolvers that are designed for concealment are going to have those 5-round cylinders. So obviously, if I have the availability of 10 rounds in a Glock 48, that's going to be flat and a little bit more concealable in that way. Why would I cut my ammunition capacity down by 1/2 to carry a revolver? Another consideration is just the ease of reloading these two relative systems, right? So if I have to reload my pistol, reload complete, right? If I have to reload my revolver, I need a speed strip, and now I've got to strip individual rounds into the cylinder, or I need a speed loader, and now I've got to line up 5 cartridges, excuse me, with 5 charge holes, and then close my cylinder. Pretty time consuming, especially if I'm already 5 rounds deep into a gunfight, right? So just understanding some of the different limitations from a concealment perspective, from an ammunition capacity perspective, from a recoil management perspective, because those smaller revolvers are pretty uncontrollable in terms of recoil in some cases. And then lastly, I will point you toward the sights or lack thereof, specifically in the case of the rear sight, right? With semi-automatics, we have a lot more sight options in terms of what's available on the aftermarket and stuff like that. I'll go ahead and open this up because I do want to turn this around so you guys can just see down that little channel. I know this is very risky behavior, pointing a completely cleared out revolver directly at my own eye hole. But you guys can see that rear sight is just really lacking there. So there's a lot of reasons why revolvers are not as common nowadays. Technology is certainly one, but you know, as you can see, there are multiple other factors. Ty.
Grain. How do you choose grainage for a handgun?
So that's an excellent question. So you're gonna have to take your handgun out and shoot individually different, you know, loads that you're interested in to see if they're gonna work in your handgun. Because the weight of the projectile is one kind of consideration. The ability to reliably feed in your handgun is another consideration. The ability of your gun to extract and eject certain ammunition is another consideration. Group size, right, is also a consideration. So every handgun is going to be just a little bit different in terms of what it likes versus what it doesn't like. Some handguns may shoot 115 grain really well, and then they might not shoot 124 grain all that well, but they might do really well with 147. So now I've got a gun that'll shoot 115s pretty well, and I got a gun that'll shoot heavier bullets pretty well. Everything in the middle doesn't seem to work all that well. And that could just be one individual gun. Some guns are going to shoot 115 lights out, and they're not going to like much other ammunition in terms of what it can group with, or in terms of what it will reliably feed and cycle. So you have to play with different loads to see if your gun actually is cycling them effectively, and if it's working the way you want it to. You're also going to have to look at group size a little bit and determine if your gun is going to deliver rounds with what we term acceptable combat accuracy with whatever load you intend to choose.
The M18 for concealed carry. This is a personal question somebody asked. I mean, I guess it just goes back into compact for carry. We kind of already hit up on this, but reiterate on compacts real quick.
So this gun is a really rad gun, actually. Some people will say the bore axis is a little bit high. I will tell you that with how light this slide is and the way the mechanics of this gun work, I don't have any issue in terms of like accuracy or repeatable grouping. And I don't think the bore axis really hurts this gun. It's about Glock 19 sized, so if you're comfortable concealing a Glock 19-ish handgun, then yeah, this one is going to be a good choice for it. It does have a manual safety on it. Now, back to my previous point about manual safeties, I don't particularly care for that. Doesn't mean that I can't just put the gun on fire and forget that the manual safety exists. It also doesn't mean that when I go to get the handgun out, that I'm necessarily, so you guys are gonna, everybody be quiet for one moment here. So you guys can probably hear, every time I press the gun out, right, I go ahead and disengage that manual safety. So as long as my thumb is riding on my safety, right? Every time I go to access that handgun and get it out of the holster, my thumb's gonna be right there. And I'm just gonna flip that safety off as I'm on my way to the target, and I'm gonna be in good shape. So in terms of whether or not that gun is suitable for carry, I would say absolutely it is.
What is plus P, Pat?
Higher than standard pressure. So when we look at ammunition specifications, there is what does SAMI stand for, Brandon? Standard
like
American Ammunition Manufacturers something,
I
right?
think you hit, yeah.
It's
They're
like-
standard.
It's like Standard American Ammunition Manufacturer
You
something.
just know your stuff, dude.
I know a little bit.
You're just brilliant.
So what SAMI is SAMI is the American manufacturing standards, right? That those ammunition manufacturers are producing the ammo to. So everybody publishes all of their information, right? In terms of overall cartridge lengths and in terms of powder charges and in terms of bullet weights and all of that stuff. And that information is compiled, by somebody. And you can go and look it up. You can do internet searches. You can figure out what the SAMI specifications are for a multitude of different loads and manufacturers. Anytime you see that plus P, that is plus pressure. It is increased pressure. That ammunition is loaded to higher than normal or higher than industry standard chamber pressures. What that means to you as an end user is consult your user's manual and determine whether or not your firearm is rated to handle plus P ammunition. Because if you go and you shoot I'm just gonna pull a handgun manufacturer out of nowhere and roll with it. If you go and shoot your Ruger and you call Ruger on the phone and say, hey, I was shooting, Barnes 115 plus P TAC XPD through my whatever, my Ruger American 9mm, and it blew up on me, they're gonna say, wait, did you say you were shooting Barnes 115 plus P ammunition? Yeah, I'm sorry, sir or ma'am, that firearm is gonna be void on the warranty because you just told me on a recorded telephone line that you were using higher than standard caliber or higher than standard pressure ammunition. And if you consult your user's manual, your user's manual specifically states, please do not use plus P ammunition in this firearm, right? So plus P ammunition is just ammunition that is loaded a little bit hotter than most, generally used for hunting or self-defense. And usually you're going to want to consult your user's manual before you start shooting that stuff in your gun. Otherwise, you may run into an issue that you're not aware of.
Dance for me real quick. I don't know.
Guys, you're going to be really disappointed in my dancing skills. I'm not going to do that.
Believe that plus P ammo is still well within, though. It's not like if you put plus P in a gun, it's just going to instantly. I mean, if you put it in an old gun, there's a high chance that could happen.
Yeah, metallurgy.
But any modern
back in
gun,
the day,
a proof load is like 2 to 3 times higher.
Right.
Your gun will be, just don't do it. Still
Yeah.
don't do it.
The manufacturers don't want you to do, and it's their lawyers that are telling them they don't want you to do that because, liability reasons and all of that stuff. So it's not generally something that's going to cause an issue for you. It's just something that, legal departments say, hey, make sure you tell these guys don't be shooting that stuff in this gun.
Yeah.
So Ty, talk to me.
I'm just running back and forth. Well, Brandon's laptop is done.
Oh.
People are excited about the 12th. It's going to be the 12th with the old school. And,
Very cool. Yeah, I'll be there for sure. We've got a lot of stuff. Shut up, I'll be here. I've got a lot of stuff to show off. Yeah.
how's
thought it was-
Polar Wave going?
You thought the good stuff was only on OnlyFans. It's going.
That has good stuff. Hold on.
Okay.
That has good stuff.
There is good stuff there, but that's not the only spot there's good stuff.
Check out our OnlyFans.
Oh my gosh. People are with the check the Google trend like
Firing pin OnlyFans. Is that a thing?
now we have someone just scooped it probably and they made their own, some weirdo out there.
Just Glocks.
What are you doing? Oh my god. Polar Wave. Literally just met with our engineer, Matt Hume, working with him out of Batavia, and just going through the process is, you know, it's going to be not a super long road, but you know, it's going to take some time. There's certainly a process to go through. The town of Batavia is very open and very receptive to everything that we want to do, but you know, the planning board only meets, you know, every so often, you know, a specific time. Yeah, so we're getting there. We're certainly out there. We're working, trying to keep the property up. You know, it's a lot of property. It's 22 acres, so just kind of keeping homeostasis as it is takes.
Don't let the
some time.
wildlife take over the whole
Yeah, it's cool. I have a place to hunt now. Like, got my hunter's ed done when you could do it virtually.
Nice.
You know, I'm gonna go out there. I'm so torn. I think, man, obviously the people want me to use the 50 BMG, but I don't know if you're allowed to.
I don't think you can do that.
But you know, so torn. We got so many cool guns to try. You know, and I got a cool thing in the mail from a local politician trying to, you know, butter me up, saying like, here's all your local hunting dates, you know, or whatever. And we saw like a turkey right outside. Like I could have just opened up in the wood stove room and just taken a shot, but I was like, no, too early. I'm a responsible hunter.
There you go.
Responsible hunter. But I was like, come 2 weeks or whatever it is, 10 days, you're dead.
You're gone.
Mr. Tom.
So all this old school stuff, I have a personal request for anybody watching. Does anybody have any 25-35? I'm talking like 1, maybe 2 rounds. I know you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to get too far into it because on this stream, I'm actually gonna go all out on this 12th stream, the stream on the 12th of November, because I have something pretty cool that's happening in November, and I need a single round or 2 of 25-35. I can't find any. That's such a dead caliber, I feel.
Yeah. Just try the MOB, Caledonia. If we had gun shows, I can't remember his name, but there's a guy who just has like a little like tackle box with like 2 rounds of this and 1 round of that.
Yeah.
Like $40 for one.
Yeah, I definitely need
And it'll be a
one
dud.
round.
It'll be a dud.
Oh.
Well, you never know.
I'll find out where he lives.
You never know. Get your money back.
Get my money
At
back.
least you could, in theory, like reload that. You know, you have a case now.
Yeah.
You could pull the primer,
Theoretically,
you
I'm not
could-
reloading it.
Well, someone will.
I like my digits.
Yeah. Seriously. Seriously.
So what do the people want us to do, Ty?
Something to quote. Something. I can't say that out loud.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Want to get political?
my
Any feedback on the 2 candidates for sheriff? Doing a question, I don't even know what they're talking about. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's getting so close to the race. We would love to have some type of open house or town hall or whatever. If anybody knows, you know, the candidates and would like to tell them we're interested, you know, like I don't really know how to set that up other than we have this platform. You know,
Right.
we can certainly have them on or just Skype or Zoom them in, you know, during it as well.
That'd
You
be
guys
cool.
could certainly also maybe we could do this. Maybe we could make some posts, put it out there. What are your questions for them? Maybe we can request even just some answers, you know, before the
specific
election.
questions, yeah,
Yeah,
that
you
would
don't
be
have
helpful.
to interview us per se. Like, give us written answers. Take some time. You know, I hate to say it's just getting so close, but we can certainly try it. We would love to help because, you know, I know that's a very heated topic of discussion in Genesee County on all the Facebook pages and stuff I've seen. It's, you know,
Yeah, I don't
brought
know.
up quite a bit.
I don't know too much about Sheriff Sharon.
Yeah.
He's from all accounts, people that do know him and talk to him, he seems like a pretty pro Second Amendment guy.
I was gonna say we've got our finger on the pulse pretty well, and I don't hear about a lot of Safe Act charges, or it doesn't really happen in Genesee County.
I know enough guys.
And it
that
seems
work
like if
for
it
the
does,
sheriff's
it's-
office
yeah.
that I feel like I would know
Right.
if there had been like.
Well, and they're still, I guess, even in this area, they're still, I would say, rare enough. They get reported pretty well by the media. Like,
Yeah.
you would hear about them, and it just doesn't happen. So I know that the candidate running for sheriff, his name starts with a K. I don't want to mispronounce it.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with.
Everyone knows who I'm
pronunciation.
talking about. But I know he is a very pro Second Amendment. That's like one of his, you know,
It's one of the talking points that
of his campaign.
his
So
platform.
again, you know, as we said before, other than like non-enforcement, basically, there's not much the sheriff can do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they don't have that much sway. You're still in New York. you get pulled over by a trooper, you're still done.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, or,
Yeah, no, all they can do is give guidance to the guys that work in their office, kind
Sure.
of, and you know that seems to be like the limit of kind of the
Right.
sheriff's power from that end of things.
Right.
But based on different conversations that I've had with some of the deputies that I do know, obviously those guys, and we've had guys come out here before when we were all hanging out. The guys that work in the sheriff's office,
Yeah.
obviously very pro Second Amendment.
right. They definitely are not out to jam you up.
No.
Like,
No, good
you have
guys.
to- you have to earn,
Yeah, I'd say
if
that's
you
the
get
one.
charges, you deserve them.
One of the things about the Genesee County Sheriff's Office that I've always, respected a lot is they all seem to be like pretty common sense guys, right? In my dealings with them.
I must say though, I thought it was quite humorous when things were going down and we got these concrete blocks dropped off. It was going down Park Road or whatever it is where the sheriff's office is.
Yeah.
They put 2 concrete blocks in front of their front door.
Good for that.
And I was like, I could just picture some deputy, right after you helped me put all these out here that one day. I remember back in March, things were just getting crazy with COVID. We were like, man, that was one of the things we've always wanted to do, or I've always wanted to do, as just another security measure. And
It just makes so much sense, if you got a big open area like that, you want to try and make it so it's a little bit less penetrable from a standpoint of being able to drive a vehicle right through there. And we hardened up that one section.
Right.
Looked pretty good, and obviously somebody took notice and they went back and
I
did
was
the
like,
same
yeah.
thing. So
great minds think alike.
absolutely.
I don't know what he's digging at back there. I can hear him.
He's messing
rooting
around with something.
Get out of there! Get the spray bottle.
Right?
Uh-oh. He's bringing something.
Don't make me get the hose.
Ooh, look at that. Look at that guy. Look at
Jeremiah
tuna.
asked if we still have the tactical tuna.
Tactical tuna.
We still have the tactical tuna. Look at this.
Pretty cool, I guess.
This should have an OnlyFans.
Just
These guys are pretty cool. We were actually gonna take this down on the last live stream we did when we did all like the pop culture takedown. But Brian was like, "Yeah, that gun sucks. We're not taking this down." So
Yeah,
we didn't really get to
it
take it down. Do you know much about these? Like, if they're ever used anywhere other than just looking cool?
I have no idea if anybody is using these. I pray to Jesus that they're not. Look at this.
Talk about it.
Look at this stupid thing.
It's on the overhead, so they can see it
So-
laying down.
A couple things are readily apparent right off the bat, right? And yeah, first thing is stupid rotating charging handle, right? So this thing can't wait to just slam my fingers into, right? Like that's one of the things about these bullpups that I really don't like. This one doesn't have as bad of a like weight distribution issue as some of the others, like the AUG and stuff like that. The safety, I guess, is ambidextrous enough. I don't know. Maybe if I spent some time training with this thing, I would start to like it. But
they're definitely cool. They're one of those you love them or you hate them. You either love the looks of them and they,
I'm just not a bullpup, dude.
Yeah. To me, the juice isn't worth the squeeze.
No.
No,
because I got to learn a whole different manual of arms, and the stupid thing. It's all plastic. No,
Yeah, it's too.
I'm not smart enough to use that.
It's
Look
too
at that.
covered up. There's
Yeah.
too much.
It's too much in my way
Yeah.
in terms of like the mechanism.
But like tuna.
But it does look cool.
Plastic.
Looks like something straight out of like Stargate. Even though
Yeah.
they used the P90, I think, didn't they?
I don't know.
But it's plastic.
Stargate is
The whole stupid thing is
But-
plastic.
My M4 stock has plastic on it.
All right.
But that's like the bare minimum, what you need, like America.
But my Glock's plastic.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like if you
but-
took out all of the like dead space, the emptiness, like if you just reduced everything down, maybe, I don't know.
If you had to choose the FN 2000 or the FAMAS, what would you choose?
Oh God.
death.
I guess it depends.
Capped.
The collector in me would say the FAMAS, just because those are so
they're
rare.
just so rare.
Especially in the United States.
That up charging handle is so weird.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
If I had to, what
Probably
what
the
could
FS2000 just because of FN.
what could possibly be going wrong in my life that
Where am
my
I?
choices
Yeah.
are down to an FS2000 and I need answers about.
You're literally in the French Foreign Legion.
Right.
That's your.
Yeah. How
the
did this
scenario.
befall me? What alternate life choices can I go back and redecide?
I think that's
Kepi
it. I don't
hat.
think we have much more. We
Yeah,
are at the hour and a half mark.
I got nothing else left for you guys. I have nothing left to give. That's not true. I have a lot left to contribute, but
I have something to give.
Ooh,
Give it
radio.
away.
Radios are cool.
Anthony Palumbo, you have won the Baofeng A88.
Nice.
So I will put your name on these. Just let us know that you won it, and of course you can come and pick these guys up. I think we programmed the little Chinese voice off of this.
I think we did. Yep.
That's fine. It's English now. It's not spying on you.
I tell you what though, we do a weekly radio net, which is just like where everybody checks in.
Yeah.
It's just a known time where you know there'll be activity on the radio. So you can tune in, listen, see if you get into the repeater. And I'll tell you what, we had people out on Grand Island using radios just like these, little tiny handhelds putting out, you know, no power basically. And he's making weird faces. Getting in just beautifully. Our repeaters have incredible coverage, and you know, you just never know what's going to happen. The grid can be unstable, communication systems can fail. This is just another layer, another tool in your tool belt, something that you can use in case of disaster.
Does this stupid thing even eject? What's going on here?
It just
vaporizes all of the brass.
Where does the brass go?
It comes out.
Does it come out this back?
No.
Well, that's your face. You
Comes out.
Yeah, show me the ejection
coming
port.
to camera.
Yeah, this
It's
isn't
coming
good
to
TV.
camera.
Show me
Where
the
does-
ejection
yeah, where
port
does
on
it
this
come out of?
silly gun.
I don't know. We're gonna really
Yeah.
down. That has to be down. It comes out of the thing. Where
See,
the-
this thing doesn't even eject. This isn't even a.
It's caseless, isn't it? Isn't this the caseless one?
Yeah,
It just burns them up.
this is the Fabrique.
Where does
the
it come
Fabrique
out of? We've clearly never shot this gun. I want to go look it up now.
magazine.
Where does this stupid brass go? Just collecting the butts.
All right, let's go shoot it.
Are you
Dump it out
sure? Are you
later.
sure? Are you sure it's not coming out of this?
Oh, where would it go?
In your eye?
In your face.
Because like there's the chamber. Like the chamber's right there.
Guys, we're gonna do some investigating real quick. So yeah, hold on.
I think it comes out of here. That's the only logical thing I can see, even though it's like right next to the face.
Yeah, that
You
is
can't even aim.
that is highly illogical. Don't worry, guys. More to follow. On
Hey Jamie, can you pull that up?
Where does? Yeah, we need a Jamie.
I'm here, Jamie.
Well, you're on camera, so you're doing it wrong.
Oh, you want to see where it comes out of?
Yeah.
It comes out the front. It comes out right there.
Really?
It comes out right there. Yeah.
I never would have expected that.
The dust because the dust covers. Right there.
Ah.
Isn't that neato?
I've
I
never-
like that now. I like this gun.
I have never tuned. I've never tuned once in my life.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to mess with
Pretty
this.
cool.
I guess we'll have to do some more.
Thanks, YouTube.
I guess we'll have to do some more stuff with this gun when we get a chance to mess with it more, because obviously we don't know anything
I have one
about
more
it.
giveaway too. By the way,
What you got?
my shirt. I'm giving away a shirt. The Pew is Life. You see the sponsor every week.
Pews are life.
What'd
What?
you say?
I said Pew is life. Your brand.
Pew is life.
That's what I
it.
said.
We'll fight on camera.
Okay.
Right?
That's what he said. So anyway, Pew is life. Who we giving the shirt to, Ty? Are we gonna give
Victoria Gotham. I've
Ooh,
chosen you.
yes, she's good peeps.
you have to do a little bit of research on yourself. Go to pewislife.com. Go to the collections tab. Hit Pew is Life, and then when you hit Pew is Life, you're going to see all of my stuff. I don't have my like new website up and ready, so you kind of don't have 100% of everything. But choose from that website. We're gonna have to get address. We're gonna have to get some personal information.
This one is the coolest.
Yeah, P equals D squared over 40. That one is pretty
It's how to
cool.
make ice cream, right?
Yeah, yeah, precisely.
If you Google right
how to
now
make
what
Play-Doh.
is P equals D squared divided by 40, it'll tell
Don't
you.
Google that.
Just the picture is really cool too.
It'll tell you, but the ATF is coming.
The ATF will definitely come and knock on your door. But yeah, just Facebook message us or email me at just Facebook message us. We'll get all your contact information so I can send you a shirt. Anything else, Brandon?
Oh man, nothing that I can think of other than tactical games are coming up really soon. And we would love, even if you cannot compete or don't think you're ready to compete, come out. There's no spectator fee, right, for this one?
Nope.
Come out and
come
just
and
see what it's
watch.
about.
Check it out.
Cheer people on. We'll have hoses out there, maybe like spraying with water. No, I'm just kidding. It'll be
You have a
too cold
meeting
for
on
that.
Saturday for spectators? Or
Yeah, I do.
For
So
volunteers,
this
right?
coming
Yeah.
Saturday, yep, thank you for reminding me. This coming Saturday, 9 to 10:30, somewhere in there. We're just gonna do, this one is gonna be just a sand table, right? So it's just gonna be a walkthrough. And we're just gonna talk about some of the general outline of the event and how some of that work is gonna be divided up. And for those of you who make it out, we're gonna start talking about who's gonna be, you know, battle boss, who's gonna be my battle bosses, who's gonna be put in charge of directing traffic, you know, to help get people where they need to be. We're gonna start assigning, you know, who's gonna be working on the range with Josh to make sure that all the targets out there are getting hung appropriately and scored and all of that good stuff. A lot of work to be done. I'm told we have, I think the number is 12 or 13 volunteers. So we're about halfway to where I would like to be. So if you are interested or know anybody who's interested, haven't signed up yet, please do, okay? We really appreciate your help.
I agree. I don't like this thing.
It's terrible.
I also don't like how it has adjustable gas systems. That's another thing to mess with.
The gas adjustment I don't mind if you're gonna run it suppressed or whatever, but you know.
all right, guys. Before we finally get off, weird. Before we finally like shut this down, I just want to say that again, this will be live, or this will be on YouTube. I'm going to upload the video tomorrow, so be sure to check out the parts you missed if you missed any. Be sure to share that, and be sure to like and subscribe to us. That really does help us. The more following we can get, the more stuff we can actually do. I want to see like one of those gold YouTube things.
That'd be cool.
I want to see one of those.
You get for doing what, like 10 viewers?
Yeah.
15?
We're on our way.
We're almost there.
We'll
Guys,
get there one
please
day.
help us out with all of that stuff.
And tell your friends, guys, if you like the live stream here, like we really enjoy doing it for you, but ultimately, like we do need to increase the viewership just a little bit more, because I feel like this should be growing as we're doing it. I love the loyalty of our viewership. I love the fact that so many of you are there waiting every single week, and I love that we're getting to know your names, right? But I also want other people to join us here as well, because some of them have questions that maybe we could help them answer. Some of them want to be entertained. Some of them just like to look at beautiful men like this one right here, right? So, help your buddies out.
As always, guys, stay beautiful, and thank you so much for checking this out.